Today, we are going to talk about the next big things in sales that every single BDR, SDR, AE, full cycle sales rep on the planet needs to use. Am I right? Am I not right on this one? It literally is. And you are going to love this episode. And I'm not talking on camera purposely. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, I have a phenomenal guest. His name is Adam Robinson. And if you haven't checked out or connected with Adam Robinson as of yet, I highly recommend you do so. On today's episode, we are going to reveal some things that's been kept secret by the Pentagon. I'm just kidding. But this is some secrets that the top performers, the top influencers, the people that you see out there in the sales dump are doing. And interestingly enough, many people are not catching on or taking advantage of it. So Adam and I are going to go through this playbook, and we're going to give you exactly what you should be doing. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos or listening to this podcast, I encourage you to go subscribe and let's stay connected. It would be an honor. I'm on LinkedIn as well, and that's where I typically camp out. As we dive into this episode, you get a chance to learn a little bit more about Adam and why he's so passionate about what he's doing, the story about how he discovered this formula and why he feels that every AE should be taking advantage of this. It is so good. Listen in. Adam, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm really looking forward to this. We as individual contributors, as sales rep, I guess I can still put myself in that category. But we are out there selling on the front lines, and we recognize, yes, the game has changed. We're trying to figure out how to best adapt to this. I know you're passionate about videos in specific and the role of sellers. And I wanted to jump into that and talk and pick some insights from you. But before we do, talk to us a little bit more about what you do, man.
Sure. I'm the founder and CEO of Retention.com. And what our company does is we do person level website visitor identity. What does that mean? It means if someone hits your website and they don't fill out a form, we can send you a push to Slack in real time with the full profile of this person for free. It doesn't even make any sense how or why. There's nothing like it out there. Like everybody else stops at the company when they do this type of resolution. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to go for this like incredibly viral distribution strategy into like a product-led growth motion. So I'm trying to create basically the most insanely valuable product ever and just make it free.
We got to give you some money too, Adam. Come on.
Well, where we're going to charge is, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask you what sales automation tech you use on the way in.
Yeah.
So if you say outreach, right? Just to try to wear people down, I'm going to put a push to outreach button next to every single lead. And so long as you want to do that manually, it's free your whole life. But if you want it pushed to just add to the sequence at a touch of a button, because I use it like a dating app. I scroll through these things and I'm like, nope. Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
Yep. So to the extent you want it to be automated, $495 a month. That's
all
it.
Right. Try it out. I'm doing it. Like, I'm doing it. Put it on my link.
I'm betting.
Right there.
I'll send you a script after this. So I'm betting that for the people that actually want to save time with automation, $500 a month is throwaway. That's the whole bet.
Yeah.
And for people who don't, then great, use it for free.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think, there's something to this idea, and I think it goes back to the conversation we're going to have. Is like, one, it's extremely valuable, something that we want, something that's going to help us out. And if we would do it manually, we're going to, we can find success with it. You're going to find success. Like even that piece alone, like their company that charged like, hundreds of thousands of dollars for just to let me know who's the dark data, who's there that I don't know. But then the fact that you're giving that part away and then you can do the manual side is fantastic. And then the other part to this too is going back to what we're going into is like you establishing yourself as an industry authority leader. And when you have the watering hole, naturally people are going to want to come to you because you're doing something different and you have something that I want. Which leads into the conversation today. Video, like Talk to me
Dude,
about that.
video.
Why video? Like
Well,
you're
yeah. Well, why are we sitting here doing this right now? It's a very similar thing. So
yeah,
a couple things I believe about video,
sure.
right? I think that with the way that the world is set up and everybody ingesting different types of video on their phone.
Mhm.
So my base sort of scenario for this hypothesis is that if you can get people to listen to you about anything intelligent
Mhm.
over any medium sort of length of time, you will become an authority figure in their head. Your status will raise. Anything even remotely intelligent.
Mm.
And then you have the world set up in a way to where people are sitting around doing this all day, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this like the reason why coaches are it's such a great business model on Meta, for instance. It's like it's this machine which creates envy, and then you have these very high status individuals who can portray their status to people, and then they basically say, you know, I'll sell you the secret to my status, right? Like that's kind of the that's kind of what it is. But like, you know, I think you become video. We are, as humans, we are helpless to this. I mean, this is why so many talking heads exist on the shows exist in the world. It's like it's like you're almost become a religious figure in some ways, right?
Yeah.
You just become, and it's like text accomplishes some of that. I think that hearing someone's voice only is probably like 5 times as effective as just text.
Mhm.
And then once you start communicating over video and its facial expressions and its gestures, I know because I just have people tell me all the time, like every week somebody's like, I feel like I know you because of LinkedIn. Like they feel like they're your friend. So who cares, right? Like, what is it? Why do you want people to know you?
Yeah.
In everything you do and everything I do, the biggest fight in the world is building trust,
Hmm.
right? As an individual contributor or a founder trying to push a product out to masses, trust, comfort, familiarity, like all of this stuff, if you can create that as an individual contributor, like you have won the game before you even started playing,
Yeah.
right? Like so there's the opportunity to create this automated trust building machine for yourself,
Hmm.
you know?
So let's go back on that because I agree with you there with that trust idea. Because I think that takes down a lot of the barriers with somebody with a reputable company name that obviously brings some kind of trust to it, and then obviously if I'm a sales rep for Google, and then obviously if I'm a sales rep for Google and I'm producing dope stuff that people find entertaining or remotely interesting, then I again go into a more higher echelon stratosphere. How do I even start and what kind of videos? Because everyone can produce a video. Hear me out on this.
Right.
People can produce a video, but what makes a video that is going to establish that trust and brings, like you said, a remote, bring some level of in ingenuity? Like, what do I need to do in a video that's going to help me as a seller right now?
So I think that first of all, we would have to come to an agreement that building a personal brand as a seller is going to help you with your craft in general, right?
Okay.
So that if you don't agree with that statement, then like none of the rest of this is, you're going to be like, it's a
Stop
waste of my
listening.
fucking time. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to just go get my list from Apollo and I'm going to stick it in outreach and I'm going to go do what I've been doing for the last 25 years. Right. Like, I believe that B2B sales, meaning if you're a person at Google and you're selling to whoever,
Sure.
the best people understand that it's human to human sales. It's not business to business. It's human to human. So I think that, I happen to have acquired lots of followers by saying what I'm saying. I'm basically like reporting things about my business in real time. And in particular, I'm sharing negative experiences that I'm having related to, sales, which I think people are afraid to say in my position, but a lot of people are feeling the same sort of pipeline crisis. So it's hitting a nerve. It's getting a lot of audience.
Yeah.
That's accomplishing one thing for me. What I think an AE can accomplish is something very different. If you just like, if someone is interested in your product because you're a reputable company and you can link to a profile where there's interesting thought leadership coming out, you're giving them a way to basically form this connection to you without you having to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, one purpose of social media is to like amplify your voice and build an audience for yourself.
Yeah.
Another one is kind of like for people to do like a little background check on you, right? Like if you're an enterprise seller, every deal matters a lot, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you know, if one person who's the right person, if you're posting twice a week and they read a couple posts and that ends up making that person like you enough to start talking to you, which leads to a deal, that is impossible to quantify in
Yeah.
numbers, the benefit of doing that. But like similar when I started, like when I started creating content a year ago, I had no idea where I was going to end up. I sucked at it. It took literally 15 months ago. It took me 12 months to really find my voice. But it was a leap of faith when I
So,
started doing it.
but
Right?
go back to when you said you sucked at it. Like, what was the first video? What did you do?
Oh, dude, you can go. On my YouTube channel. You can go look at them. So like, this is an interesting conversation in itself. So
yeah.
we are launching this product that I described to you that we're selling to B2B revenue leaders like in 2 weeks, right? It's
Yeah.
in beta right now. People are, I have a 22 million ARR bootstrap startup that sells into e-commerce. And 15 months ago, I was like, wow, we could really go for it. Nobody is aware of my company. What's the fastest way to generate awareness? And I thought it was to build a personal social media page up. I had not created a piece of content before that. And it put me in this weird position because I'm not an e-commerce guy. And I think part of the reason my content works so well right now is I'm speaking to other software guys. Does that make sense? Like
It sure
I'm
does.
speaking about pain that I'm having to people who are feeling the same pain.
Yeah.
And on the e-commerce side, I didn't know what to write because I didn't feel like I was the right person to create content, even content related to e-commerce email marketing. I never sent an email marketing campaign, but like our product helps improve abandoned carts. So it's like 0.01% of their overall operation that I'm a total expert on, and I know nothing else, right? So, dude, I just was like, we're all entrepreneurs. I'm just going to start talking about my business and like problems I'm having and like how I'm trying to solve them and what I'm doing and like here's my financials and like all this stuff. So like literally for 6 or 9 months, I was sitting there. I had 5 little whiteboards. And I didn't know, no one was providing me any guidance about what to make.
Yeah.
And this stuff, to give you an idea, I would make a video and it would get like 2,500 impressions. Now I make a video and it gets 250,000 impressions. To give you an idea of how much better I have gotten at this,
Yeah.
right? But I was still making one every fucking day. And
Yeah.
I actually thought they were doing okay at the time, right?
Yeah.
But literally it's me, and you can go back, if you go back long into my LinkedIn, you'll see him. I'm sitting there talking about how I'm building our partnership program and I'm like holding up whiteboards. So this guy told me, he's like, you should make a hook, a story, 5 lessons and a close. And that should be your
Yes.
format. So that's what I was like, that's what I was doing. And I was using whiteboards for the 5 lessons. And like with that type of video, it seemed like a lot of the same people were watching them because I had a lot of people in the ecosystem telling me that they were watching them.
Yeah.
Now, for the insane reach that I'm getting now, I have copied the Chris Walker playbook.
Ooh.
Almost completely. I'm doing one thing differently. So like I was upset. So like, again, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm looking at, I see very few people who are just as forward with videos, Chris Walker.
Yeah.
And instinctively, I'm like, I know what he's getting from that. Like people think he's way smarter than he actually is. He's a smart guy, but people like think that this guy walks on water. Why? Because he's putting his face out there every single day talking about, and the interesting
stuff in the show
thing.
notes.
Yeah. So like Chris Walker, he has formed, in my opinion, this man has done an incredible job at forming a community around some basic ideas that he has. And it's like attribution's broken, sort of SDR models are too big, like, some of these ideas that he ends up saying over and over again in very different ways. And the way he's generating this content is like he's getting on other people's podcasts and he does a virtual event and then he gets it all chopped up. And then he looks through these videos and he writes a big LinkedIn post based on it. Now, I don't have a virtual event yet. I'm not on other people's podcasts. So I literally just put some notes on another screen and I read them.
Yeah.
With the camera coming in this way and act like I'm on a podcast. But I do kind of a similar, like really heavy. What? So
bro,
one thing is though,
so your last video. So that's why I thought you were on a show when you were talking about Morgan.
Yeah, no, I was just like looking at notes, man. Yeah. Actually on that one, I might've been talking to our videographer, our video editor, who was like walking me through my notes basically, but I was definitely not on a show.
Yeah.
But it seems like I was, because I was copying Chris Walker. I'm like something about, I didn't know why, but I'm like something about him not looking at the camera is making this more interesting to me.
You see, and I did that with my team the other day. We were working on some content, a marketing person, and I had them literally do that one where I was off camera. And I think it's something to this backstage idea. Whenever I've done that, one of my past video on Insta, and I'll shut up, you jump in here, man. It went crazy. But it wasn't, I didn't even expect this thing, bro, Aaron. It was like, I was at a conference. I was speaking to a roundtable group of people, not my keynote that I did, but my videographer recorded it and she took that clip, and it wasn't like anything really focusing on sales. It was just like a concept. And then we were like, what in the world? Why this video? I remember that night and I'm like, where are these notifications coming from? But it was going back to what you said. It was just it's behind the scenes. It was like one of those things.
Yeah, there's something voyeuristic about it a little bit, I think, or like maybe you like kind of feel like you're in Joe Rogan's studio or something. You know, it's like we're kind of, I don't know what it is, but something about it works. So that's what I do now. You know, I do think like LinkedIn's like this attention thing. So I think you want to write. I have success with these very long, almost character maxing out posts.
Yeah,
where it's like a hard hook that's almost hyperbolic. And then any kind of like list format that's like, here's my 6-step playbook to like whatever. And then some like takeaway with like a really nice wrap, like a kind of cute, you know, wrap it up or whatever. And then the sideways fake podcast. like
guys, we're turning the camera around. The camera around. Let's do the rest of the interview.
No, totally. You just look over there. And that's what people want, right?
Get my peripheral. Get my good side, guys.
I'm not. I don't claim to be the inventor of this method.
No,
but these I mean, they're crushing. Like I made a docuseries last year about scaling my company, and those talking, it is incredibly high quality. Like, you know, we had a filmmaker do it. It's just so good. You can go to my LinkedIn page and check it out. It's called $1 Billion Challenge.
Yeah.
The talking head videos do like 10 times better, you know, literally just like saying basically the same thing that's in the text post, just like not looking straight onto the camera, acting like you're on a podcast. So that's what I am seeing work right now. You know, but there's this other thing where it's like a lot of stuff that really works. You're not totally sure of why it's working.
Yeah.
But I just know that it is. And I know that I was just kind of shamelessly copying my boy, Chris Walker. Thank you, Chris.
Chris is in the show notes, guys. Connect with Chris.
Yeah, he's really good, man. He's so good. So like another thing that I think he does really well, which, so taking a step back to like, I'm sure people are like, okay, I'm with you, right? I want to start doing this. Well, what should I write about? I think there's one camp that's like, oh, you need to sit down with like a spreadsheet and figure out what your pillars are, right? Your content pillars and sub pillars and this, that, and the other. And, you know, I have a guy helping me out with this LinkedIn stuff named Alec Paul, who helps a lot of tech CEOs out. His dad's actually Andy Paul, another sales Yeah.
Big shout out to Andy.
So he's in this game of helping CEOs out with their personal brand because he just learned it all working with his dad. And he's like, no, man, like you can't, like you learn as you write what your
Yeah.
pillars are, right? I think you can have a vague idea, but like now I know exactly what they are because I've just seen what I can comment on in my personal experience that just strikes a nerve and takes off.
Mm-hmm.
What I think Chris is amazing at is he's got these three main things he talks about, and he manages to write these huge posts, which you're reading the essence of it is exactly the same as everything else that he says,
Yeah.
but it seems totally fresh, right? It seems new every time. And I think that's the secret to being a great content creator anywhere. It's like, because the essence of it is you're trying to create this character, right? And the way you reinforce this character is by saying the same shit over and over again, right?
Yeah.
But you can't just say the same shit over and over again because no one's going to want to read it. The best in the game, they know how to do it to where they're saying the same thing basically every single day. And when you read it, you're like, oh man, that's amazing. That's amazing. I've never heard that before, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's great to just go through his stuff, like a lot of his stuff, because you see that he's doing this and you see how good, I mean, it's so good. Like,
and we want that. I mean, again, it's not, and I would argue again, Chris didn't create this idea too, right?
no,
It's the
no,
storytelling.
this is as old as time.
It
right?
is.
This is politics. This is news. This
It
is anything,
is.
right?
Like
if you're running for president, you're saying one thing over and over again, right? Like that's how you do this, right?
when you
like,
said that point, that's what I thought about. And you and I both know right now who that person was. That I said that in my head. When you said that, I knew exactly, and I was like, that's what he did. Like it's the same idea, same method of that story. And it's why Hollywood is so big, and it's why books are still relevant, and it's why, you know, we do anything for stories. And this goes back to the concept that, can we marry that with you know, with B2B selling? Can we marry that with when it comes to e-commerce? And a company that did that, the Harmon Brothers, like, bro, that stupid, I have a squatty potty in my house, and I still think about this from the Harmon Brothers, the video, the storytelling, the idea of that one thing that just like, you know, hammered. I know that they're creative, and that's their, you know, one schlick that they go along on. And I will get hooked in those stupid e-commerce stuff for buy a purple pillow. Because of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm fascinated by the game. One thing that I mentioned in this post that we referenced in the beginning of the thing, which is talking about, I was like, and I'm not sure I believe this 100%, but I think I believe it 90%. Basically, the headline of this post was like, the next generation of $1 million AEs aren't working at top tier startups. They're YouTubers.
I saw it. Yes. And it's truth. It's true.
It's like, my whole thing is like, all of these platforms are going to go more video. They kind of have to, because it's the most engaging content, right? And then as they do, it's really hard to make it as a YouTuber.
Yeah.
It is substantially easier to support your family selling enterprise software than it is making YouTube videos about random shit, right?
Dope. Yep.
So like, I think in a similar way that like a musician sells out and starts making jingles for like Tide or whatever, right? Just because they got to like put food on the table.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's going to be that similar thing that happens where YouTubers are going to be like, you know what? Fuck this shit, man. I'm going to just go make $1 million a year at Salesforce.
Yep.
Right. And like, that'll be a path in the skill of aggregating audience over video. As this, you know, more eyeballs come on the platform and the platforms go more towards video, it has to become increasingly valuable to B2B software companies. It just has to, you know what I mean? I just don't see a world where, you know, a lot of the original demand creation that is made is not made through organic social. You know, there's no more efficient way to build trust in an audience than organic social. You know, and
repeat that one more time for the people in the back.
Yeah, there is no more effective way, an efficient way to build trust to an audience than organic social. Period. Full stop.
So I think with your the two ideas that you're sharing here, I want to tell you something that I do, and I think this makes sense. With you kind of helped to bridge this gap today. One, I'm always leery of the ad, because I know the ad is, as an ad is targeted towards me. But when somebody does something organically, I feel like they're not trying to trap me, even though there may be a hook.
Right.
I don't feel that there's a hook.
Right.
I will go down that rabbit hole and go down a path and end up downloading their software and have it on my computer. The other side to that too is I find myself more HubSpot at the last at Inbound, they shared that 40% of executives say they discover new products on social media, and what they're getting back is like people are not searching, like they're not
Right.
necessarily searching, they're discovering, they're going to explore, they're at these watering holes, so to speak, already. And then I think about what my behavior is. I rarely seldom go to a website and I'll go into their video on that site because I feel like, oh, they're going to cookie me and capture me. So what I typically do is I go to YouTube because I don't feel that they're capturing can get my info. So I feel like it could be the same exact video, bro, but I just
Yeah.
feel like while I'm on YouTube, I'm in private. you,
Yeah.
you can't get me. And I think
Yeah. Which
there's
is
something to
absurd because they're getting you in a million other ways, right?
right. But I feel like this idea of just being organic
Yeah.
makes it gives more trust, and that allows for me to be willing to connect with you further, and so kind of going back all around, tying back your points together in my head here. It's really remarkable.
I mean, yeah, you definitely just tied it all together.
Bro, I'm an AE. Went back to I asked you that about your first piece of content, and I'm thinking, bro, I really just don't know where to start. I really enjoyed this episode today, and I want to do something. What should I do? What's my assignment?
So like I always the place that I always start with stuff like this,
Hmm.
and it's not the answer. So like here's an answer that's hard to hear but I think is accurate.
Sure.
There is no prescription, but there's tons of inspiration out there, right?
Mm.
There's no prescription, but there's infinite inspiration. So in a situation like this, and I was doing this, I just didn't really find the perfect blueprint for myself until a year in, which I think is reasonable. Everybody who plays the content game generally says something similar. It didn't really start working for me until like a year or more after I started doing it, right? So if I were an AE, I would start just looking at what other successful AEs who are content creators are putting out there and seeing what might be able to, some of which you can borrow from them, right? Like copying doesn't ever work.
Yeah.
Borrowing from 5 different people and then putting your own spin on it can work incredibly well, right? Like what I'm doing is not what Chris Walker's doing,
No.
but it is heavily influenced by him. And it is working as well as what his is, but it saved me 4 years of his experimentation,
Yeah.
So like, look, on this topic, this is not something that is easily recreated, but the best AE video that had ever been forwarded to me is the dude JD from Gong,
Yeah.
who did you remember there was one of his prospects was trying to do whatever that thing is where you're doing a push-up where you're sitting on your elbows,
The plank
for 10
ones?
minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
the 10-minute plank where he's
Yeah.
doing a gong hit each minute.
Yeah.
Like, look, that's wildly creative. That's not really repeatable. But look at what else look at what else he's doing, right? Like
Yeah.
the other stuff he's doing besides that is pretty formulaic and repeatable. And it is making him who he is in the world or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like take it in for a few weeks, a month, and then dude, just start trying to write some stuff.
Yeah.
See what happens. It's just, you got to start somewhere. It's going to be terrible. No one's going to like it. No one's going to care, but you got to do it.
You start.
Like
You start.
it's like starting a startup. You got to start somewhere, man. It's just, it's starting is the hardest part. Once you're moving, then it's just keep grasping for inspiration and seeing people that you can mirror and sort of, whatever, emulate, and keep trying to get better. I mean, that's exactly what I would do.
Dope
And
stuff, man.
last thing, start with one platform.
Yeah.
Don't be like, oh, I want to be like a LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and like whatever. I'm still only one.
Yeah. Discover
And
your
that's
identity,
15
discover your
months in.
community. Well, bro, I'm agreeing. I love this. I'm gonna do more videos. You just inspired me. So I have my
Good.
static posts and most pictures, and they're good. But I'm gonna do some more videos. So I'm gonna give a shout out to you.
Look over there.
Over there.
Yeah, no, it's already. It's like I think he's got somebody. He's looking at you. Who is that?
You got to do videos, right? You guys have to do the video. I mean, the other day I did that video and it went crazy. I had this guy Adam on a podcast.
Who's he talking to? Is he talking to Elon? Like, who's he talking to?
Oh man. Well, listen, if folks want to get connected to you, want to learn more from you, check out your tool, your software. You said it's in beta right now, or it's waitlist.
Yeah, exactly. Waitlist. Just hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm Retention Adam, or you can just type in Adam Robinson, retention.com. DM me. We're adding people to a waitlist right now. We got like February 1st. We're going to let it out in the wild.
Let's go.
So get ready, baby.
I'm going on the list. Going to DM you. I can't wait to have that.
Yeah. Well, I'll send you a script right now, but just the broader audience, they got to kind of wait for it.
All right. Well, I have to do a video about it then and talk about it.
Dude, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. So another thing is like UGC, right? Like the most valuable thing anyone like me can get is somebody who's not me, just describing exactly how they're using it. Cause like, it's just hard for people, man. It's like, even for doers, if it's a new thing, they're just like, yeah, but like, what's somebody else doing with this? Like, I think I know, but like, I would just love to see some examples. Not to say that they would copy them, but it's like, just fucking show me, like, because it's a weird thing. It's like, what are you supposed to say to someone who's on your website?
Yeah.
But didn't tell you they were, right? There's a mega creep factor that you're trying to navigate,
Yeah. And you see, that's the reason why I like YouTube for my stuff, because I'll look at the demo of some of like a HubSpot or one of these major platforms, but then I see all these other people that do have content about it that's third party, and I'm like, some of them may have an affiliate link, but I'm not clicking on an affiliate link. But that stuff is way more organic than HubSpot telling me, go to their 3-point thing. But I don't want to see a full demo. But this guy showed me how he made a pipeline. It's like, bro, come on.
Mega priority of mine is to build a squad of people who are regularly doing this,
bro.
Because I understand, it's like the D2C playbook already, right? Like, you try to get people to use your product and fucking post about it, right? Like, what, why is that not? I mean, I just think Notion did it, right? Like, I think it's like, I'm going to try. I think it lends itself really, 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 I think it works really well for these like big freemium PLG things to like try to assemble a group of people doing that.
It's bro, it works. It works. I feel like the more creative we get, the more we realize that the principles are, you don't have to reinvent the principle. You just have the mode about going about doing it. You don't have to reinvent frying eggs. Just give me another way of how you fry it.
Yeah, totally.
Bro, love your stuff, man. Thank you so much, man. We'll put all this in our show notes. I look out for that script, and I look out to make tons of money from you.
And rock and roll, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Adam.
Yep, you're welcome.
That was Adam Robinson, and we just divulged to you the next big thing. Now, it's something that you all have heard of before. However, it's something that many of us aren't taking advantage of. Now, look at this video as I switch my persona here, and I pretend I'm talking off camera to somebody else. I promise you, besides looking at this beautiful side of my peripheral, that you're probably a little bit more intrigued about this idea that Adam's saying. Who am I talking to? What am I talking about? There's got to be somebody that he's sharing something to. This curiosity effect causes you that you want to learn more. And I'm telling you, you need to check it out and try it. We saw this in one of my videos, and I lie not that I tested, and it was good. And now Adam mentioned this, it validates it even more so. And it's something that we're going to be doing. And you should be creating content. I've been saying this since 2013. you should be creating content. And it's what led to where we are today. You don't need to be an influencer. You just need to make sure have influence in your domain, in your niche. Listen, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to 3 to 5x your sales pipeline with real business, good opportunities. I want you to increase your close rate, at least double your close rate. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking. Check out the stuff Adam has to share. Check out our sponsors, and let's help you to get some more money in your pipeline and do big things. Appreciate you being here. Have a good one.